Hi, it's Alana. I have decided the first story that I want to tell you. The first story that I want to tell you is Playday 2010. At the university where I went to, we had what's called Playday, and in the spring semester, we got one day off, normally around Easter or kind of the middle of April, right before finals, so that we could just kind of zone out and just have fun. They would bring bounce houses and Velcro things you could jump into and all sorts of fun stuff. But of course, being the rebel that I am, along with my friends, we would always go do something else. And so it kind of turned into a tradition that we would go to the zoo every play day. And so there was a group of about six of us, and we just decided, hey, let's go to the Dallas Zoo this year. We haven't been to the Dallas Zoo before. So we all pile in a car and we go. And we have an absolutely fantastic time. We go to the kids part, like we get to pet the zoos, we get to put on ranger uniforms. Like we are so stinking excited about this. Um, and so all is fine and dandy. We have a great time, and so then we think, hey, well, while we're up here in Dallas, my family lives in Dallas, and my roommate's family lives in Dallas. So hey, let's just go have dinner with the parents. And so we go to Boca de Beppo, something like that, some bada 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 sound. It's like a family style Italian place. It's really good, and you really should go. Not only is it good food, it's a lot of food served family style. So you buy like 3 dishes and you can feed like 12 people, and it just has really cool decorations. There's one party room they have called the Pope Room, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's like pictures and like a headset, a bust of the Pope. Anyway, so we go to dinner and we're having fun. Um, I'm sitting against the wall in a corner, and everyone else is just kind of around the table. And you might say, "Why does it matter where you were sitting?" But it matters. Just wait and let me get there. So, um, this is 2010. I'm set to graduate in December 2010, and so uh, my roommates and I have already been thinking about. I actually have 3 roommates. There was Jay, Julia, and Rachel. And so Julia and Rachel had a room in our apartment. They had their room, and then Jay or Jennifer and I, we had another room. And so we've been talking about, do we move off campus? Do we stay on campus? Just kind of what do we want to do? And so I I'm really for moving off campus, and I just for several different reasons. Anyway, so we've talked about it and nobody's really come to a conclusion. Are we going to? Are we not? Has anybody looked at this? Like, have we priced things? And so I, at this point, have already decided that I'm going to move off campus, or at least I'm pretty sure that I am. One of my friends that I used to work with when I worked at Starbucks, she her nephew is moving out, and so she needs. So she was wondering if somebody wanted to come move in with her and just like rent out a room. So I'm like, that sounds perfect because I don't think my other roommates are going to move off campus, but I still want to. Not that I don't want to be friends with my friends, or not that I don't want to be friends with my roommates anymore. I'm just ready to live off campus. So I tell her, yeah, I'm pretty sure that I want to do this. I think that this will be really good. I'm really excited about this. We're really good friends. I'm excited we're going to be roommates and we can see each other more often. Although my roommates will tell you that just because I'm your roommate does not mean that you'll see me. Um, that's a whole other story. Um, we'll get to that one, don't worry. So Jay's parents come to dinner with us, and so we're sitting there, and I'm talking to her mom, and Jay is about 4 people down the table from me, and remember, I'm in the corner. And so Jay's mom is across from her down the table, and so she says, "Alana, so where are you gonna?" Oh, I'm also at this point an education major. I wanted to be a middle school math teacher. I love middle schoolers because they're just so painfully awkward, and they just need a hug every day. Um, at least that's how I felt in junior high. And so, and algebra is my favorite. And so, middle school or freshman year is pretty much the years that I want to teach. And so, I'm set to student teach in the fall of 2010. And so her mom asked me, so, where are you student teaching? And I said, oh, I'm student teaching in a town over from where I currently live. And she's like, oh, well, aren't you, sorry, I would tell you what town I live, but, internet stalkers, creepers, whatever. We'll say that the town that I currently live in is B, and the town that I'm going to move to is T. And so whenever I and so I told her, oh, I'm going to student teach in town T, and she's like, oh, well, isn't that going to be hard commuting from town B? And I said, no, not really, because I'm moving to live with a friend who lives in town T. And then it hits me. I haven't told Jay that I'm moving, and the situation just became really, really awkward. Um, when I say really awkward, I mean that a hush fell over the table, and I thought, really, Alana, like you, you lie, and this time you decided to tell the truth. Not that I'm a pathological liar, but there are times when you just don't tell the whole truth because you know that it's just not the appropriate time. Like I could have said, I don't really know. I'm not really sure yet. We're still looking into options of where we're going to live. Instead, no, I just said everything. I just said, no, I'm actually going to live with my friend Amy in Temple. And so then her parents don't realize anything's wrong. They're like, oh, that's exciting. Da, 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 da. Just keep going. And I just feel dead on the inside. I don't even know what word to use there. I feel miserable because I realized that this was how Jay found out that I'm moving out, and it's just awkward. So she gets up and she excuses herself and leaves, and her parents are like, "What's the deal with Jay?" And I say, "I hadn't told her I was moving out until just now." And her mom said, "Oh, that was poor planning." Really? Really thanks, because I couldn't figure that out on my own. When I said earlier that it matters where I sat, I was so glad that I was sitting in the corner because I was having a peach Bellini, which is basically a peach alcoholic smoothie with dinner. And so I was sitting there drinking it, and maybe that's why I decided to tell everyone my plans without realizing I had told them my plans. But so after her mom says, "Hey, so are you going to commute? What are you going to do?" And after I say, "Oh no, I'm actually going to do this thing that I haven't told anyone that I'm going to do, and I'm going to announce it in front of everyone." And Jay gets up and leaves. I was just so glad that I was sitting in the corner because I just felt like crawling into a corner and dying, and I was halfway there. And my friend Mike, that was sitting across from me, just took his peach Bellini and just pushed it forward. And I looked down at him, or I looked down and then I looked back up, and he said, "I think you need this more than I do." And I just nodded and said, "You're probably right." And so Jay is normally the type that will talk about things. She's a great communicator. She loves to work things out. And so after dinner, I try my hardest to talk to her, and I try to go up and say, I am so sorry. And she just turns around and says, "Don't talk to me until I talk to you. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to be near you. I don't want to look at you." Oh, okay. Um, okay. And so after this, we go to Barnes and Noble up in Dallas because they have no, not Barnes and Noble. I lied to you. I'm sorry. Apparently, I am a liar. Um, we go to Half Price Books because there's a huge Half Price Books up in Dallas, and so we go, and it's just still awkward. And the car ride home, the 2 hour car ride home from Dallas, awkward because we're all in this tiny, tiny space that I have made extremely awkward by telling my roommate in front of everyone that I'm moving out instead of having a conversation of, "Hey, so are you going to move off campus? Because if not, I'm going to do this. But if you are going to move off campus, I would love to still live with you." And that's not at all what happened. And it was painfully, painfully awkward. I I just cannot express in words. It's ineffable how terrible it was. Um, anyway, but we worked through it and we're fine now, and we can actually laugh about it now. But for a couple months after that, all kinds of passive aggressive comments were made about how I'm not a good communicator, or, "Oh, so is this another play day?" No. But anyway, so we're still friends. I still talk to Jay all the time, although I did end up moving off campus and living with Amy like I thought I was going to. Um, it's been really fun living with Amy, um, but I will never forget Playdate 2010, and that was the catalyst for the moment that I thought, even if I don't want to have a conversation with someone, I should probably have the conversation before I have the conversation in front of everyone and just make an ass of myself. Because that's definitely what happened, and I felt terrible. Especially because Jay got up from at the restaurant. She got up, she excused herself to go to the restroom to just go stand there and cry. And she passed a waiter on the way, and from her description, as she's sitting there, just standing there, silent tears rolling down her face because she's just so upset. The guy just looks at her like, "Oh, oh, you look like you were just broken up with. Like you look just so sad. Like, is there anything I can do to help?" And she just shakes her head and walks on by. And then there was like an awkward picture of like a cat hang, like one of those hang in there kind of posters of the cat in the women's bathroom, which just kind of made her cry worse. I'm a terrible friend. But I do have my good moments, and I think that that's why I still have friends. So there you go. That's Playdate 2010.